Jesus Freak here, and I'm going to be making a comparison between two Bibles I already have and one I just got. This being in NASB95 from Zondervan. It's your basic bonded leather El Cheapo, typical of the 90s, although I think it's newer than that. Yeah. 2018 R.R. Donnelly China printing. Just your typical El Cheapo build. Basic presentation page. On the Bible paper, oddly. It's not on, thicker paper like usual. A title page with a rather weird looking NASB update logo. Copyright page, table of contents, basic stuff. Just the usual, preface and stuff that you find in your NASBs, and just goes into the Old Testament. Just a basic, Zondy layout. Directly from one testament into the other with no intervening pages. There's a little bit of stuff in the back. There's a basic concordance. Some basic helps in the back, not unlike, kind of stuff you might find in the front of a Gideon Bible. Ministry of Jesus, Teachings of Jesus. I like the harmonies better, but it's effective, briefer. Miracles, parables, just some basic lists. And then there's a note about the guarantees on certain of their Bibles. It just goes off in the back, no maps, nothing. Now, I'm going to mention something. They say it's the most literal version. It's kind of moved backwards in this regard and in the direction of the NIV. Yeah. And from what I hear, the revision they're working on to be published next year is going even more in that direction. I'm going to do a comparison here with a particular verse that shows what I'm talking about. This is Luke 5:12. I'm holding the 1977 NASB, which I call the last true NASB, and that's 95, quote, updated NASB, which I call fake NASB. But in the old one, it reads, I'm just reading the first bit of the verses. And it came about that while he was in one of the cities, behold, there was a man full of leprosy. And this was changed in the 95 to, while he was in one of the cities, behold, there was a man covered with leprosy. Now, they didn't go as far as the NIV and NRSV did and get rid of behold, but you see something missing at the beginning? This is the Spanish equivalent of the NASB, and it's an updated. Let me get the date. 1997. LBLA. And of course, this translation starts, y aconteció que estando Jesús en una de las ciudades, y aquí había allí un hombre lleno de lepra. And basically, it agrees with the 77 NASB reading in pretty much the entire sense of the word. It used y aconteció for, and well, the King James Version uses, and it came to pass. I usually use, when I translate it, I use, and it so happened. But it's the same idea. They left the whole thing out because it sounds less natural. But this is the NASB. It's supposed to be more literal. It's not. It doesn't have to. Sounding natural isn't its point. It's supposed to be accurate before natural. And it was in 77 and before. And from what I'm seeing, it's kind of erring more in the natural direction now, with the result that, it's losing what made it distinct. And the ESV is kind of taking its place as a generally literal translation of choice. I can't imagine this is going to be lost on Lockman Foundation. They're going to have a lot of people who have been using the NASB for decades. My uncles use the NASB. I've never really used it myself, but these people are going to ditch the NASB. They're going to drop it like a bad habit, and they're going to switch either to the ESV, or they're going to say, you know what, we're fed up with all these revisions, and they're going to go back to the King James. And I know someone who did actually go back to the King James because of all this revisions. I mean, honestly, it's not as bad for revisions as the ESV is, but Jesus freak out.